Well, hello, everybody. You already know what time it is. It's time for the Purpose Conversation. I am Juva Threet Alexander, the host of this oh so amazing live podcast. And y'all, I am so excited to continue our Women Making Her Story podcast here on Mondays. This has been truly extraordinary. So it's been the perfect way for me to just kind of kick off my week to celebrate phenomenal women as we celebrate women during Women's History Month or Women's Month. This has just been absolutely amazing, and I hope that it's been amazing for you. So, you know how we do. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to go ahead and come on into the room. If you see me here on Facebook and I'm coming across your feed, go ahead and step on in, and I want you to like and share this particular video because this is the last of this Women Making History series. And tonight you absolutely do not want to miss it. And if you are catching us on replay, I want you to do hashtag replay so that I'll know and ask your questions and sit back and enjoy because this is a treat for everybody. So come in to the room, like and share. For those that are catching us here on YouTube, I say welcome to the Purpose Conversation. To all of my purpose friends, new purpose friends, and all of the ones, y'all have been ones that have been rocking with me from the very beginning. It is so good to see each and every one of you. And so, anyway, tonight, as you guys know, the past few weeks have been absolutely phenomenal. We have had so many different women on, amazing women, and I want to encourage you to go back and watch the last three and check out tonight's, of course. But I think you will be, you're going to be inspired. I have been inspired. I have been encouraged. I have been motivated, and yeah, and also if you see a phenomenal woman, make sure that you leave her a comment, you check out her services, and you check out her movie, and you'll see why I say that tonight. So tonight is extra special. I have a friend in the business, one of my girlfriends that I met along the way in the middle of my writing journey, in the middle of my purpose. And y'all know how I am about purpose. I believe that everything under the sun revolves around purpose. There's a purpose for everything, to include my purpose for meeting this phenomenal woman. And so I want to tell you guys a little bit about her. And you've probably seen me just kind of share bits and pieces and things like that just over the course of the past week, because that's just kind of what I do. But this person has just been a creative force. And I was sharing with her that I don't think sometimes, we don't realize how much we kind of inspire other people, but she absolutely inspires me. And so she was one of the first people that I thought of when I said that, hey, I wanted to do something a little different during this show, specifically during Women's Month. I keep wanting to say Women's History Month, Women's Her Story Month. But I wanted to do something a little different. And she was one of the first people that kind of came to mind. And I was like, oh man, I know that she's busy, or oh gosh, I don't know what she may have going on, but I sure hope that she's available. And lo and behold, I reached out and I said, hey, this is what I have going on. And she's like, Juva, of course. So I was very excited for her yes. All of the women that have come on the show, I've been very excited for their yes. And this has been great. And because so many of you communicate and you reaching back out and things like that, then I know that it's been good for you too. So y'all, bear with me 1 second. We're going to end out Women Making History Mondays right now. And we are going to do that with Miss Nadira Nas Pankey. Miss Pankey, honey, she is an award-winning screenwriter, filmmaker, and her catalog runs deep. She's worked on several syndicated television shows. Let's see, the Steve Wilkos Show, Jerry Springer, Maury, Divorce Court, BET, and Netflix. Her accomplishments, they range from publishing her very first book, Evergreen Uprooted, the memoirs of Secret. Oh my gosh, y'all, to writing, producing, and directing her first feature film movie called Gerald's Hands. Without a doubt, Nas, absolutely, she embodies purpose. And I tell you what, if I could say look purpose up in the dictionary, there'd probably be a picture of Nas just right there. I promise. But anyway, y'all know how we do. Let's give a round of applause and a drum roll, please. That's my drum roll. As we welcome to the Purpose Conversation live podcast, Nas Pankey. Let's see, where have I gone?
Hey, Juva.
Hey, Nas. I
Hey.
should have left my glasses on a little bit longer, girl, because I'm sitting up here like, wait a minute. What am I doing? Hey, Nas.
Hey, it's so good
Welcome
to
to
see
the Purpose
you.
Conversation. Thank you so much for your yes. This has been I've been looking forward to this before I even really knew what it was that I was going to do. I knew at some point in time I was gonna have to have Nas on the show, and I had to do it before you get super, super, super busy because I follow you and I know that you've been doing some stuff, girl. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such an honor to be on your show. It's so great to see you. You are such a beautiful person. You have such a lovely spirit. So thank you for having me here to talk about purpose. I'm
Thank
excited.
you. Thank you. And thank you for all of that. Girl, this is nothing but good energy tonight. I am connecting with Nas. Nas, you know what? I've said Nas for so long because Nas is your nickname. Please tell me that I am pronouncing your name correctly. How do you pronounce your name?
Nas, you mean Nadira?
Nadira.
Nadira.
So I'm
Yes.
pronouncing it correctly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm like,
Yes.
okay, Nadira, Nas, Pinky, but it is definitely
Yes.
Nadira, but I know you as Nas.
Yes.
And
Yes.
gosh, Nas, say hello to my purpose friends, and then we're gonna jump into talking some purpose.
Hello, Purpose friends. It's such an honor and a blessing to be here on this amazing show, this amazing platform, and talk about purpose. I'm looking forward to it.
That's right. Nas, let's kick it off. What does purpose look like to you? What does purpose mean to you?
Oh my goodness. Purpose is really utilizing your God given gifts, right? Because I believe that we are all born with a purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we get off that track of what our purpose. Sometimes first we have to discover what our purpose is. We pray, God, show us our purpose. And then a lot of times, just distractions can kind of get us off track of what that purpose is. But I believe we're all born with purpose. And I believe purpose is utilizing and living in your God given gifts.
I definitely agree with that. A
Yes.
lot of times we think of purpose and we're thinking vocation, which in a lot of times it is. If we really truly seek it out, then our vocation is definitely part of our purpose, and we are doing that thing that we are called to do. And sometimes what I've realized is that sometimes some people sometimes get stuck. You know what I mean? We get
Mm-hmm.
stuck in that thing that we're not called to do. You know,
Yes.
I wrote
Mm-hmm.
a whole book about being daggone stuck in a situation, in a place, in an establishment I didn't have no business being in, you know, although God used that. But,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many times, you could be stuck. Was there ever a time along your career, and we'll talk about all of the many things that you do, but was there ever a time that you felt like before you discovered what your particular thing is in that particular
Yes.
season? Can you tell me about a time, a period of being just stuck? Because I believe there's somebody tonight that is a writer, somebody that's a screenwriter, and somebody that's
Mhm.
supposed to be out here making films and doing what you do and maybe even collaborating, but they're stuck.
Yes.
Tell us about a time or a season of stuckness for you. And I don't think stuckness is a word, but we're going to go with it.
You know, so many times, but I'll tell you when I was trying to find my purpose and I was confused about my purpose and I felt stuck and I was stuck because, just I think sometimes our purpose can change. So when I was
Mm,
a single mom, for example, with two sons, my purpose was to provide and to support them and to make sure that they were loved and cared for and they had a roof over their head, the clothes on their back, food to eat, and just being mom. That was my purpose at that time, to take care of them. And so I think what I believe is, we have different purposes at different points in our life, right? And so just like
mm-hmm.
when you talk about Christ, and not trying to be like a Bible fanatic, but Jesus Christ came into the world and at different stages he had a different purpose, but his purpose was always to love on people and to take care of humanity and to save humanity. That was his overall purpose. So yeah, I've been stuck. I've gone through so many ups and downs and beating myself up for making bad choices and bad decisions. And of course, when you have children, your decisions not only affect your life, but it can affect your children as well. So those are places that I've been stuck, but I thank God for Jesus and knowing God and knowing that I can get on my knees and pray and ask God to come in and guide me. And God has done that so many times and has
I,
guided me out of being stuck. So
I
yeah.
love that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I thank you for sharing that. It kind of it reminds me of, how you may have sat through a seminar or something, or some sort of well, I've even seen people have conferences about balancing. We call it, oh, well, how do you balance? And I've always said that you really truly, I don't know if we ever truly balance, because we're always, I think sometimes some things in life that start happening, it may require more of your attention at the time. And so it's kind of like that with purpose. It sometimes it's evolving and it shifts,
Yes.
so in a particular season, especially when your children were little, your purpose was to be that mom, to be there, to be present, because sometimes that is so incredibly,
Mm.
kind of hard to do, is to make sure that you show up and that you're just present. I even think about my children ranging of all ages from 15 to what, 33, and they're all at very different stages in life, but I have to show up in a different way. So I'm glad that you talked about being stuck before you're necessarily discovering your purpose, but realizing that sometimes you have to embrace what it is that you're doing in that particular season, because it can shift. It does shift. And
Yes.
so, but people will get um, frustrated. This is what I've seen in the line of work that I've been doing, and just kind of talking about purpose. People will get frustrated uh, in that seasonal kind of shift and that change. Let's say the kids are now they're empty nesters, and or maybe
Mhm.
that they've experienced a divorce or death or what have you, and then they find themselves stuck, and they're like, oh, well, they don't necessarily even know what they're passionate about. They don't know what it
Mm.
is they want to do, you know what I mean, or what they're even good at. So yeah, so I'm glad that you recognize that, hey, sometimes it does shift.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yes,
does shift.
yes, and I've experienced that shift, and one thing I will say, and, it's so much that I've learned, but it's taken me to this point to get there, to learn. It's taken me to be a middle-aged woman, to learn the things that I know now. And if I can give that to the people coming up, the people, lift them up, and
Yes.
they don't have to wait until they're my age to learn. The thing is, never lose focus of your purpose. And I think there's always distractions, just being a single mom at one time and going through the hustle and the bustle and the struggle. There's always distractions, but never lose focus of your purpose,
Ooh.
because we all have that. And like you said, things can happen that can throw us off course, but you just got to stay focused on what your purpose is. Believe in your purpose, no matter if no one else believes, that's okay. Believe in your purpose, work on your purpose, trust your purpose, trust what your intentions are here on this earth, right? And what God's plan is for you on this earth, and stick to it no matter what, because there's always going to be distractions in life. But I believe that when you are walking in your purpose, you can do better, not only for yourself, but for your family and everyone else around you.
Oh, wow. Girl, I'm already emotional as it is. I got hormones all over the place as is. And I just feel like I just want to cry because I feel like you were just kind of speaking to me just to be real, real, real. Because those distractions come. Oh,
Yes,
okay, Judy,
yes,
this is not that type of
they
night.
come.
But those things come, and sometimes those distractions can feel like boom, and feel like they want to take you out, but to stay focused no matter what. And sometimes you may have to scale back, maybe not do so much, and maybe just take baby steps, refocus, but stay
Yes,
focused.
but stay focused.
Stay
Yes.
focused.
Yes.
Stay
And even if you
focused.
get thrown off course, because, that's okay, because we live moment by moment and day by day. So you just forget about the past, and you can always start over each moment, each day. So sometimes you do get thrown off course and you do get distracted, but you can always
Yeah.
get back on track.
That's right.
You can
And no,
always
and
do
you
that.
can
Yes.
start right where you are again, and you can start
Yes.
again.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. That is correct. That's right. And that's what it's about, and a lot of times people think, "Oh, well, I'm walking in, these things are hard for me because I'm on the right track." No, sometimes it's hard because you're off track.
Yeah,
When you're on the
yeah.
right track, it's not hard because you're on the track that you're supposed to be. And you have to
Yes,
stay focused and stay committed to your purpose. And I'm telling you, it will all fall right in your lap.
it sure will. It sure
Anything you want.
will.
Yes.
Wow. Naz, when you were a little girl, what did you want to be?
Oh my goodness. I'll be honest with you, and you won't believe this. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I was a little girl. My life, I had such a hard life. Coming up, the struggle, during the crack epidemic, having a mom on drugs, having an abusive stepfather, as well as my mom became abusive too because of the drugs, and just always on survival mode. I
Yeah,
really didn't know what I wanted to be. It was really a very, very sad time in my life because I wasn't allowed to dream, and I never thought I was good enough. That was another thing too, because I went through a lot of bullying at school, and bullying and being afraid in the household. And then, like I said, my mind was just always on survival. And when it wasn't on that, it was on how can I escape this world that I'm in, this world that I'm trapped in. Because, when you're a child, you really don't have much of a choice, how you're being brought up and what's going on in your household. It was a lot of negativity in my household. And I believe that when you are surrounded by negativity, it's gonna attract more negativity. I truly do believe that. And it was a
oh
lot
yeah,
of, ungodliness in my household when I was coming up. And it attracted a lot of ungodliness, and a lot of terrible things happened too. I really had no idea what I was good at, what I wanted to be. I knew I was good at taking care of everybody. That I
right.
knew I was good at, and I was praised for it. I was praised for being the oldest child and the one that's going to look out for
Yeah,
everyone. And because I was so good at it, I felt like that was my job in life, to take care of everybody. Take care of everyone. And I had to kind of, even as I grew into an adult, I had to really try to break that. And so one day, it was a year ago, I was working on a production and it was just really hectic. And a woman of God came to me and she said to me, "You take care of everybody." She said, "God take care of the people. This is your season. It's time for you to rest. God will take care of the people." And I was just like, wow, that was just so, like, it became part of my DNA to take care of everybody. And I'm taking care of my sisters and my mom and just everybody in my life all throughout my life. And I never really took the time to take care of myself. So
Wow.
when I was a kid, I had no idea what I wanted to be or who I wanted to be. It
You
was really
know,
a sad time, I will say. Yeah.
very sad because I think to say that you weren't able to dream, you know,
Yeah.
and and there are lots of little boys and little girls that don't know that either. And
Yeah.
so I think that's why I love creatives that are able to be storytellers, because especially for those of us that have been given the assignment to tell our story,
Mhm.
because whatever it is that we've experienced and we've overcome, God uses it. You know what I mean? Well, of
Mhm.
course, you know what I mean. He will use it. And for me and for you, he's allowed you to kind of to write it out and to share it, and somebody will connect, somebody will understand, and somebody will look at you now and say, well, look at her now. you know if God did it for her, he most certainly can do it for me. And
Yes.
maybe that young boy or that young girl, or they don't even have to be young, they could be old, like me, but now they have a glimmer of what it could possibly feel like to
Yes.
dream, to
Yes,
dream.
yes, yes, that is correct. That is
Wow.
correct. And even during that time where everything was so dark, like the house was dark, we didn't have lights, not because we didn't have electricity, because we just didn't have lights. Light bulbs blew out and nobody was taking their money, their crack money to buy light bulbs. We had like one light in the hallway and it lit up the whole house. It was a dark home. And even with that, looking out the window, you're looking through window bars and seeing crackheads and crack addiction and poverty and dirt and no parks in the community and just no community centers. It just was like one of those that time period in that place. But even through that, there was always television, and that was my escape at that time. I didn't even know I would be into television and be a filmmaker at that time. I just would escape by watching other people's stories, and
Wow.
believe it or not, it gave me hope. And I think that's why I love storytelling so much. That's why I love
Yes.
film so much. It gave me hope. It showed me, okay, you're in this place, this dark place, right? But there's another side of the world, another part of the world where someone is living like this and someone is living like that. And it just gave me a lot of hope and insight even during that time in my life.
Wow. I absolutely can. Yeah, I absolutely love that, and I love the idea of just it allowing you to be able to connect even through television, and to see somebody just a little different, or somebody that's experiencing something, um, and it gave you hope. That makes me feel better. That makes me feel a whole
Yeah,
lot better.
it made me feel good, and that was during the time when I didn't feel good a lot, but I could watch a show and really connect and be inspired and feel good. And that's what I want to do through my storytelling. That's what I strive to do. I strive to connect with people, and I know what that feels like because it happened for me. And it's so amazing how I say our life is a setup and God is working behind the scenes, because I had no idea I would be a filmmaker. I had no idea I would connect with people through storytelling. But at that time, even during those dark moments, and there were a lot of dark moments, there was always the television, and they would call me as a kid, they called me a TV fanatic because I escaped to it, like the sunken place. I was in the sunken place.
Well, I am glad that you did, because it has been because we reap the benefits and we get to see all of your work. Speaking of your works and speaking of your books, you actually did a short film based off of on about your book. And so
Mhm.
I want to show just a really quick clip, and then I want us to talk about Evergreen Uprooted for just a moment, okay?
Sure.
All right, let's see.
Grew up in the birthplace of hip hop music and culture.
Take off your shoes, stockings, and let your feet go down.
I was sitting in a dimly lit stairwell of the first floor in my building. It was the size of a single prison cell, and my mother Ann was sitting next to me.
Where the fuck you been?
She had just been punched in the face by my stepfather for disappearing for 3 days and coming home with no money. She claimed he had broken her jaw. This, however, did not stop her from pulling out a crack pipe and getting high. You want a hit?
Ooh, nice. Oh my goodness. That part of the book like took me out, and watching it. Okay, give us the name of the book and tell us the purpose behind this book. How, there we go. Evergreen Uprooted, Memoirs of Secret.
Memoirs of Secret. Oh my goodness. Do I start at the beginning of how the book came about, or just you want me to talk about the book? Where do
I
I
want
start?
us to let's talk about how the book came about. I
Okay.
think that would be really important. Um, and then why you selected to write this particular, because I know that how did, yeah, let's talk about how did it start
Yeah.
and the purpose behind your your assignment to write this.
Yes. So as an adult, I found myself in college with a third grade reading level. I had broken my wrist. First, all right, I was working 3 jobs, working, barely seeing my children, and just struggling through life, determined to succeed. I was trying to apply for help with child care and different government benefits that I just did not qualify for because I was working 3 jobs. And all 3 of these jobs were pretty much like 35-hour a week, 30-hour a week jobs. So they would just hire me right under 40 hours. And I ended up breaking my wrist and I couldn't work any of the jobs. And then I qualified
Mm,
for everything. And the best thing that came out of that is I was able to spend time with my sons and I loved it. I didn't want to be that mom that was never around because I grew up alone, raising
right,
myself. And I didn't want that for my kids wasn't raising themselves, but it just was other people were raising them, babysitters and, daycare and school. And I wanted to be a part of their life. And so a ex friend of mine, she kept telling me, go to college, go to school, work one job. But my experience with school was always really bad. I was always extremely behind, delayed. I had missed so much school that I just thought that I was stupid and I was incapable of learning. And I told myself through life that school was just not for me. But after spending time with my kids and wanting to stay and continue to get the assistance that I was getting, I decided, okay, maybe I will go to college and give it a shot so I can work one job instead of 3 and be with my children. So I ended up going to school and go in and get, I get all the paperwork together, my transcript, and I had to get what is it, a tetanus shot, and is that what it's called, tetanus shot,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
all the stuff. I got all that stuff together, and I went and applied, and they said, okay, now you're going to take a placement test. I took my placement test, and my reading was on a third grade reading level, and this was
Wow.
very, very disappointing to me, because my goal was to get in and get out. That was my
Mm-hmm.
goal. And I had no intentions on taking classes that I would get no credit for, and having to take remedial reading at the lowest level,
Right.
which meant it took me about a year and a half just to get into regular college courses. That was not my plan. My plan was to go in 2 years and come out a registered nurse, because they had a
Right.
2-year registered nursing program. So now, I'm being told, well, you can't even take those classes until because you have to get into English 101.
Right.
You know how to
Right.
read into English, college English. And, you
Right.
know, my counselor's trying to figure out, he's scratching his head, like figuring out, how did I even get a high school diploma?
Wow.
And, my reading
Wow.
level was so bad. But, that's when they pass students through.
Yes.
And I struggled with it, and I struggled with it. And then finally I came back and I decided, I said, well, what if I just study and then retake the test? And he said, well, you can do that, but you might do worse.
Oh,
He said,
wow.
right now you got to take remedial math, but you're not at the lowest level. You just have to take one semester of remedial math. You might go back and retake the test and, end up being
And be
worse.
put way back.
And
Right.
yeah, wait, be further back. So then I had to think about that. And I said, okay. And that just really, it was like one of those things where God just put me where it was just no place else to go but do that. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So I'm going to
Right.
school every day. And, this is my first time really going to school like that and dealing with college. And, here I am, a middle-aged, woman with 2 kids, and I'm in school with these teenagers. And I was angry, and I was a tomboy, and I was violent. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
violent back then, very, very violent. Nothing like what you see now. I'm going to school, and everything just frustrated me. But I had this mindset of, I'm going to get through like I've gotten through in the past. Let me get on and find out who I can cheat. Who can I cheat from? Who can give me these answers? And,
Right.
let me get past this real quick. I wasn't really taking it seriously. And,
Yeah.
when you start college and all of the parking spaces are taken, and I didn't have I would be parking on the grass and just making my parking spaces. And I would keep getting these notices on my car that I couldn't park there. And, and so it was this thing that happened, Juva, whereas I was waiting for a parking space and someone took my parking space from
Mm-hmm.
me. And I just snapped. I left my car running. I jumped out the car and I cussed this person out. Like I was like a feral a person. I just was like a animal. I was going crazy. And the woman, she thought that I was crazy. She didn't look at me at all. She just started her vehicle and she backed out of the space, and I pulled into the parking space, right? And then I went inside, and of course I didn't have my homework done. I didn't have anything prepared. And I was like, okay, who's around? Who can I get the answers from? I'm in the computer lab, like, okay, is anybody from my class around who I can get these quick answers from?
Yeah.
And that was just my way of thinking and moving. And I
Yeah.
saw the girl who I cursed out, and I
Oh,
had just
gosh.
went to church. And I just went to church, and I was like, I gotta apologize. It just came over me to apologize to her, and I did. And when I
Yeah.
apologized, she said, I didn't even see you. Like I felt she had taken something from me. I felt, she took my parking space,
Yeah.
but she didn't see me. And the way I cursed her out, I knew something was wrong. I was so angry. I was angry that I was in school. I was angry that my life wasn't going the way I wanted it to go.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't know what my purpose was, but I knew that at that moment, my purpose was to be there for my children and to give my kids a better life than what I had, right? And
Right.
so I began to walk the school grounds and I prayed, and I was like, God, I don't know why I'm here. Am I supposed to be here? And then I would see all these like young college girls and guys, and they love themselves and they walk with their head up high. And I was like, are they just doing that? Or do people really love themselves? That I didn't believe people love themselves as much as I was
Right.
like, are they just pretending, or do they really love themselves, the way that they do? And it was a weird thing for me. And I said, I don't know how to love myself, God. I just don't know,
Wow.
you know. And I had to ask God to help me. And God said, until you can see yourself the way I created you, the right way through your eyes, I want you to see yourself through my eyes because I created you perfectly. And he spoke those words to me.
Oh,
And
wow.
he said, my son is excellent. Christ is excellent. And I want you to strive for excellence. And I remember walking and crying and just trying to figure out, am I going to stay and deal with this, or am I going to quit and go back to hustling, roll up my sleeves and hustling and working hard? And I remember crying and saying, okay, I don't know why I'm here and I don't know if I can do this, but I'm trying because Christ is excellent and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I didn't think I could do it. I just felt
Mhm.
like if somebody else, if God has the strength in me to do it, because I didn't think I had the ability to do it. And so I was like, I'm gonna strive for excellence. And I began to go to class and sit in the middle, in the front seat, in the middle, right in the front
Wow.
of the class in the middle, so I could stay focused. Before I was in the back. Now I'm in the front of the class. And after class, every day I went to the library and I went over all my notes. I took really good notes and I would go over everything and I would record it, listen to it, and try to read it. Then I would go to the writing lab every day, the reading lab every day. I had to do that every single day to learn because I couldn't even, my brain wasn't used to learning. And I was so far behind, at everything. I'm talking about far, big
Wow.
gaps in my education, big gaps. So I had to, go through that to learn. And I began to just grow and say, okay, I'm here. And I remember my very first semester in remedial reading and the remedial classes, I got all A's. And that was a big deal to me. That was a big deal
Yes,
because I said, I can learn. I'm not stupid. That
that's
was the first
right.
time in my life. I was like, oh my God, I'm not stupid. I can learn. I
Oh,
got all
no.
A's. And then it was so amazing because I was like, I'm not getting anything less than A's. I want all A's next semester too. So I began to strive for excellence, for
Oh,
real. And I remember I was on the dean's list, and I began to get into the Phi Theta Kappa, and those brought on scholarships. And
yes,
when I graduated not on one dime because I made it through college on financial aid and all scholarships. I was applying for
girl.
everything under the sun, and I was getting it, and it paid for my education.
Wow.
So while in class, this is during remedial reading, the next level up.
Yes.
I'm in class, and my professor, his name is Stephen Cohen, amazing professor. He was talking about, he had written a book while he was in college about how to, get away and navigate and work your way through school, find your way
Mhm.
through college. And for some reason at that time, the Lord said, write a book. And I said, wow, did all these things happen to me in life to write? Because I was always trying to figure out, what is my purpose? Like, why do all these things happen to me in life? Am I even supposed to be here? Because I was very suicidal then too. So I was like, am I supposed to
Wow.
be here? And then I felt stuck. I felt stuck on this earth because I was like, okay, well, if I leave, who's
Yeah.
going to take care of my kids? I have two
Yes.
sons. So I kind of felt like I'm tired. I felt tired. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of it. It's been my whole life. I'm tired of being beat down. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of,
Yes.
being alone. I'm tired. I'm tired, but I can't leave. I got my kids. I don't have nobody that's going to look after my kids. So I felt stuck. And then, so I'm always looking for, like you said, that purpose. What is the purpose? Or what is it? What am I supposed to write about what I experienced? And so I went to my professor and I said, hey, do you think I could write a book? And he was like, yeah, bring me your first 5 pages. Now, I don't know, Juva, if he misunderstood me or if he was just really encouraging me to write because I had not written 5 pages. I didn't even know where to start. I was like, what?
Right.
5 pages? I was just asking him. But it was so exciting to me because I was like, wow, once I began to learn to read and I fell in love with writing and reading. So that was just amazing. It just gave me this new hope, right? I'm going to go write these 5 pages. Well, where do I start? And I get on the phone
Yes.
with someone and I'm like, well, I've never written a book. Where did I start? And they were like, well, start with the most dramatic thing you remember happening to you. And that clip that you played is the most dramatic thing out of everything that's happened in my life. That was the thing that I
Yes.
knew. I said, wow, I really, this is real. This is serious. My mother is gone. She's out of her mind. And I have to step up and take care of not only myself, but my siblings as well, because we have to survive. And I knew it. Like I knew at that moment I was on my own. At 9 years old, I was like, I'm on my own. And my sisters, we're on our own. And I have to step up now and be there for them. And that's
Wow.
when it became real, when she was trying to convince me to smoke crack, trying to tell me how good crack is for me. And I was like, she can't be alone with my
Right.
sisters.
Right.
I
You
have
knew
to
that she
give up.
wasn't
I have
well
to
at
quit
all.
school. I have to quit everything and be there, because that's when it was like, okay, you are not 9 years old. You're not a child. You're now you have to become more than their big sister. You got to become their caregiver. And that's what I became at that moment. And that's when it was really real. Like we've been in crack houses, and I mean, it was, seeing my mother smoke crack all day, all night, all the time. Every time she was around us, she was always getting high. It wasn't like she was around us and not getting high. So it was something that we saw quite often. And that's just the truth. When she got strung out on crack, that's just how it was. And
Hmm.
she started using crack when I was 6 years old. So I can say, okay, prior to that, life was a little better, well, I would say much better. But yeah, I
Right.
was 6 years old when she started smoking crack. So yeah, so that became an everyday thing. But when she offered me to smoke it and tried to
Right.
tell me that it was good and convinced me to do it, that's when I knew, okay, I gotta step it up. So that's why I wrote, that's what brought on that part that you showed. I mean, there's so much more in the book, right? But
Oh,
that
so
part,
much more.
yes, that
So much
part
more.
was, I think that's the part I started with. That was my opening.
And you know what? It is always best when you write a book or when you write something, you have to get the audience from the very beginning. That first sentence, if you can. And
Yeah.
so when I read that, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Now I read your book. I read your book a few years ago, but like I said, I revisited on Kindle, and I was
Yes.
like, "Oh my goodness!" It just took it just that scene took me out. Now you made that into a short film. How first of all, how can we get Evergreen Uprooted Memoirs of Secret? How can we get this book, y'all? That was just a little clip. This book is a page turner, a page turner. You will probably find yourself up all night getting through this book. It is just that good. Where can we find your book?
It's on Amazon.com.
Okay,
Evergreen Uprooted Memoir and Kindle.
and
And I
Kindle.
want to make an audio book.
Oh,
So
you definitely
yeah,
need to make an audiobook. Oh, please make an
thank
audiobook.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
are we is the actual is the short film, is that available somewhere too that we can see it?
No, just that 1 minute clip is available. I did do a virtual book signing where I had filmed another short, but that's not available. And I'll tell you why. I'm in the process of creating a series, a
Okay.
television series. And it is going to
Yes.
be mostly based on my life and the characters and the people in my life and the angels that God sent to carry me through, and to get me through. And so I just want to kind of make it, even though I have the book, I want the visual part to be kind of fresh. So yeah,
I got you.
yes.
Oh wow. That is incredible. And I must add, you are a good actress. You are a good actor. You've
Thank
been doing the
you.
thing, Nas. Oh
Thank
my gosh.
you.
I was like, okay, and she acts. Yeah,
Thank you.
TikTok has
Thank
made me
you.
feel like I'm an actress. So if I can read for any part, just let me know when you are going to be when you're going to be casting. And yeah, I'd like to come and
Yes.
audition somewhere.
Oh,
Wow,
I would love that, Juva. I would love that. Absolutely.
I would love it.
Absolutely. That's what I'm actually writing now. I'm writing the pilot now. I'm
Oh
writing the
wow,
pilot for the series now. I'm
this
so excited about
is
it.
exciting. This is so
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank you. Thank
Wow,
you.
Nas.
Thank you
So
so
we
much.
went from the book, and you've done lots of different short films. There's one, but you've actually completed your first feature movie, and
Yeah.
it's called Gerald's Hands. And I would like to play a short clip of it, and then I want us to talk again about the purpose behind the lens, because you did a lot with this one. And
Yes.
anyway, so yeah, let me gear it up,
Okay.
and let me go in here. Too hurt. Mama. Woo! Oh my gosh. And I would pick the scenes. Girl, that particular scene, that one, that did so many things to me, because I am a mama, and I have some mama boys. I don't care. But
Yeah.
um, mm, tell us about this film, Gerald's Hands, and the purpose behind the lens, and phenomenal cast in this whole entire movie. Let's talk Gerald's Hands.
Thank you, Juva. I really, really, really wanted to create a film that brings autism awareness and inclusivity, because I know what it is to be ostracized. I know what it is to not fit in. I know what it is to be teased. And I went through that, just being raised in the South Bronx and not having what a lot of my peers had. And my oldest son is autistic, and he went through bullying. And when he did, it just really broke my heart. As a parent, you
Yes,
can go to the school and you can do your due diligence, but there's really not much you can do about bullying, right? We have to teach children, we have to teach people um, that people are different, that bullying is bad. We have to really teach people that. Like I said, I believe that just like we teach our children that if you make fun of someone who's blind or in a wheelchair or deaf, that makes you a bad person. We have to teach people that it's not cool to make fun of people who are disabled, whether it be autism or any kind of disability, right?
right.
And so autism is not the obvious disability sometimes. It's really
Right.
not, because the spectrum is so wide. A person
Yes,
can be autistic and you don't know that they're autistic.
that's right.
So you have Anthony Hopkins, what is it, Elon Musk? These are people with autism. They're very intelligent, but there's something, a disconnect, where the social skills are disconnected. So I wanted to show how autists or people with autism, how they learn differently. Like if you notice, we have Peabody the sock puppet, and he talks to Gerald, because with my son, he had to do a lot of role playing to kind of understand stuff socially, and understand even how to socialize in a certain way. And then up until a certain age, he didn't talk, and that happens with a lot of children and people who have autism, right? So I just wanted to show, help people get a better understanding, bring awareness to autism. And also, that clip that you played is not just for, it's for parents of who have children who are autistic, and they're always
Yes,
worried, what's going to happen? Who's going to look after my child? Who's going to love my child when I'm not there anymore? Well,
right.
God looks after your child. Really belongs to God. And if you see, like with Gerald in that scene that happened, God sent all kind of angels to look after Gerald, and he
Yes.
made it, and he still, was able to live that loving, fulfilling life. And so that was my way of, really inspiring parents and telling them, you'll be okay. Your son will be okay, or your daughter will be okay. There's always angels. There's always people around. And, again, just even using my life and where I come from and the things that I've experienced. And God has always sent people. Well, my
Right.
mother wasn't around when I didn't even know my dad until I was 17, and he died 6 months later. But, God always sends people to take care of his children,
Wow.
and
And
so that's
that
what it was.
that's so powerful. That is so powerful. Oh, you mentioned Mr. Peabody and how he utilized the puppet. Can I share that clip real quick?
Sure.
Oh, oh, Nas.
Knock.
Who's there?
It's Gerald. Gerald. Gerald.
The Gerald Kowalski who reads books and dances to rap music? Come on in.
Dr. Monty.
Hey, please have a seat.
You forgot country music.
Pardon?
You forgot to say DJ Kowalski, who reads books and dances to rap music and country music. And now Gerald dubstep.
Dubstep. Okay, that sounds pretty cool, Gerald.
Yup. Gerald dubstep. There to it. Like that there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gerald, today we're going to work on your communication skills, okay? So are you ready to role play? Good. Right. Man. Hey, Gerald. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Peabody.
What's going on?
Oh, same old. Joe just reading books and stuff.
What books are you reading?
Joe read Flowers for Algernon. Algernon is a very smart mouse. And Charlie needs a surgery so that he could be smart like Algernon.
Nas, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you. Thank
Wow.
you. Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
this film, it's so important. How do we watch Gerald's hands? How do we
Oh,
get our hands on Gerald's hands?
Gerald's Hands is streaming completely free on Tubi, and it is
Yes,
also on Amazon Prime and on Plex.
yes. I
Yes,
love it.
Gerald's Hands.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you see Peabody, that sock puppet. I knew I wanted a puppet, and then it was so blessed. Everything, the way God just lined everything up. Jamila Turner, who played Savannah, she actually made Peabody for me.
Really?
Thank you, Jamila Turner. Yes. And then that's Jason Lauder. And I've been just friends with him for a very, very long time. He's an amazing actor. And of course, Andrew starring Gerald, and
Yes.
starring Andrew McAllister. So it was just God just worked it all out for me. And I feel really blessed.
Wow. Well, I can tell you, the film blessed me. I've watched it a few times. And yeah, you guys, I encourage you to check out Gerald's Hands. And especially if you are a parent of an exceptional person, check it out, because I think it will touch your heart. It definitely it allowed me to see exceptional people, adults, in a different light, because it's like they're still adults,
Yes. Yes.
And I love the fact that Gerald had angels just surrounding him, so many angels, and he had challenges here and there, And it was just a well written, well directed, well produced,
Thank you.
well casted, just phenomenal film. And thank you for making that. Thank you for making
Thank
that.
you. Thank you, Juva, and thank you for watching it. Thank you for supporting me. I remember when you contacted me and you told me how much you loved the story, and I just really appreciate that because, again, that's what it's about, using our gifts to touch people.
Yes,
And that's what I want to do. That's how I communicate, through storytelling, and being able to connect with people. And I want parents to know, yes, you have a child with a disability, but God's going to take care of your child just like he took care of me when I was a child, and he took
yes.
care of Gerald. And it's really, really created to inspire and uplift.
I love
So
that.
thank you. I feel good to know that I accomplished that, because that was my goal. Thank
Well,
you.
I tell you what, you knocked it out of the park for that to be your very first feature movie. That was well done.
Thank
Absolutely well
you.
done.
Now, I have to say, I've directed other feature movies.
Oh yeah.
I had
Yeah.
directed one and produced one January of, because we worked on that in June, but I had done one in January as well. And I had worked on other movies, but that was the first one that I did of my own.
Yes.
I'd always worked on films for people, like who wanted to bring their vision to life. But that was the first one that I did, that I wrote, and of that one that I wrote, because I had worked on other people's project, but this was,
Yes. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad
So
that you were
thank
able
you.
to bring yours to life, and very thankful to know that you brought. Well, I know that you've directed many of others, and yeah, you are definitely you are the beast, Nas. You are the beast because you be out here doing it, honey. I
Thank
was
you. Thank you. To God be the glory. And it's what I love to do. And
yes,
that's where the joy comes in, because it's hard work, but I love it. I love it. So I never feel like it's work. It's always a blessing. It's
that's
always a
purpose, girl.
blessing.
That's
Yeah.
purpose.
So and I pray that God will just allow me to live the rest of my days doing what I love to do, which is filmmaking, which is writing, which is connecting with people through storytelling.
I
So
love
that
it.
just it's just a blessing to be able to do what you love to do.
It
And
sure is.
yeah, I encourage everybody to do that. That's what it's about.
It
I
is.
encourage everybody to don't let anything take you away from your dreams or doing what you love to do. It's wonderful. It's
That's
wonderful.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing about purpose. When we are connected to it, that's
Yeah.
when we feel fulfilled, and
Mhm.
we'll want to do it again. That's what we look forward to. It's
Yeah.
what gets us. It's what gets us. And so I see that we have several purpose friends that are on the line. I see
Yes.
that they're kind of blowing us up. I see our friend author Jerry Tatum Jr., my mother, who is a fan. My mother, she came to the Blue series when we did the Blue
Yes.
series, and
Yes.
so she's been a fan since then. So she
Oh,
saw your production.
hello.
Was it two? It was too many, right? Was that the
It
name of
was,
your
yeah, it was one too many. Yeah, one too
one too
many.
many? Yep.
Mhm.
And
Thank
so,
you.
and
Thank
then
you
we
so
have
much.
there's Andrew. Hi, Andrew McAllister,
That's my
the,
honey.
the actor. Yes, this is Mr.
Yes.
Gerald's hands, and yeah, phenomenal actor. Very nice for you to join in on the purpose conversation, Andrew. Oh, and then a Maria Tate, she says yes, sidetrack. So they're just kind of chiming in. I want to encourage everybody that if you have any questions, Nas will go ahead and she'll take a look at the replay. We'll answer questions that you may have. And also,
Yes.
Nas, I'll make sure that I go back in the show notes and I'll put in where they can get a hold of you, how they can make contact with you, and get your book and just kind of follow you. But if you would, how can we get in contact? How can we stay connected to Nas Pankey?
I am everywhere, Nas Pankey. I'm on Facebook as Nas Pankey. My website is naspankey.com. You can email me at nasppankey at gmail.com. I am on Facebook as Nadira _Pankey. So that's Nadira _Pankey. So please definitely follow me. I would love to connect. Yeah, I would love to connect. It's absolutely.
Thank you, Nas. Any shout outs, any final words? Because you've blessed us to the max already. But any shout outs, any final words for all the peoples?
My shout out is follow your dream. Keep dreaming, keep believing, and you will receive. And trust God. Don't let anything negative come into your life. Don't let any darkness steal your light, and just put yourself in good places, put yourself in where you want to be, and believe and trust that you are enough, you are good enough, and what is for you is for you. And hold on to your dreams. That's it. Hold on, keep dreaming, keep going. Live loving and love living.
Yes, love
Yes.
it. Thank you.
Thank
Nas,
you, Juva.
you are so dope, girl. You are so phenomenal, and I am so thankful that it has been part of my purpose to connect with you in this lifetime, in this particular season of my life, and to have you on the Purpose Conversation tonight. I needed you here tonight, so thank you. What a way to end Women's Making Her Story. Thank you.
Thank you. And Juva, I feel the same way about you. You are absolutely radiant and beautiful and talented and gifted. And thank you for this platform and for bringing me on your show and bringing the guests that you do and giving us a chance to share our story and inspire people with our story. So thank you very, very much. And I'm just so honored to know you. Really, really honored to know you. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure, sis. Oh my gosh. Y'all, isn't she amazing? Oh, okay, everybody. That's it. That's our time. And it'll be just a little while before I see you again because we're going to go back to the regular schedule of the last Friday or the last Monday of every month. That is when we'll have the Purpose Conversation. But until we see each other again, I want to encourage you, and all of you to please continue to seek, to discover, and to pursue your purpose on purpose. You've just watched and listened to the Purpose Conversation live podcast with me and Nadira Nas Pankey. Good night, everybody.
Good night.